Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Client Attraction by Human Design. That took forever to go live. It's all perfect. Let me come and tag you very quickly, and then we are going to get into some juiciness. I feel like I've mastered this now. If the internet plays ball, then we are good. We are good to go. Excellent. Amazing. Okay, so are we good to go? Yes, we're good to go. Good, good, good. Okay, the delirium of half term is setting in. Okay, so let me just bring you a little bit closer and fuel my drink with some of these gorgeous essences that I'm going to be sharing about with all of you very soon. Launch date to be declared. Okay, so client attraction by human design. I know that today is half term, so I don't know how many people are going to be live, but obviously you can come back and watch the recording as well. I wanted to dive into the many, the thing is about human design, there's so many different ways that you can look at it. And one of the things that I get asked the most is, how do I use this in my business? How do I use this for client attraction, for sales, to make money, all of these different things? And the truth is, there are so many ways that you can do that. And even when I was making the notes for what I was going to share with you today, I was like, there's so many different things I could put into this. There's so many different elements. There's so many different aspects of human design that integrate and correlate with different aspects of client attraction and marketing. But I'm going to simplify this as much as I can whilst giving you a lot of information at the same time. So come and say hello as you're jumping on. Let me know you're here. I am, hi Jules, how are you, lovely? I am a generator, so I'm responding to your energy all of the time. So found me and I found you. I don't know who it is, but I found you because hi Suzanne. I found the everyone. It's like I've got no idea what I'm doing with technology. Kind of don't. Okay, so client attraction. What I want you to understand from this is that within your human design, there are very specific money-making codes. There is specific ways that you can tune into your magnetism, and there are very specific ways that you can start to use this to integrate into your business and into your client attraction. So as I go through this, please ask me your questions. Bring any. It was the event again, didn't link through. It was the event, didn't link through. Where didn't it link through to? How do you mean it didn't link through? I'm confused. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. So there's 3 things we're going to cover today. The money-making magnetism method, how to unlock the money-making codes that already live inside you to attract your soulmate clients. Like, it's super cliche, isn't it? When people say, everything you need is already inside of you. And I'm here to tell you, as cliche as it is, it's actually true. The problem is that nobody was really telling you how to unlock what was inside of you before you uncovered human design. 2 here, so I was lost. Yeah, I don't think the events ever do. Certainly the ones I don't know how to do it any other way. So if there's another way, then let me know and I can do that. But I don't link the event in the group to the live. I say in the event, I'm going live, and then I go live in the group. So it's all perfect. And now I found the everyone tag. Yay. Celebrating that. Okay, so we're going to look at how energetic attraction works in human design, because when you understand how it actually works, you can see how it comes together. We're going to talk about the best way to use your innate magnetism, and then your codes about money making in your chart. Now, there are so many different things that I could cover. So probably the best thing for you to do is to interact and see what comes out, because anything could happen. So let's start with how energetic attraction works in human design. We're going to go back to basics. So in human design theory, I'm really fidgety on this chair as well. In human design theory, Everything is about energy flow and magnetism. Human design theory is the science of your aura and the science of differentiation. So it's how your aura is designed to meet the world, like how you as a person, because of the centers that you have defined inside of you in your energy, and because then the auric field that creates, how you are designed to meet the world and how the world is designed to respond to you in return. That is the basis of the foundation of human design, is this auric field. So the auric field is, all around you all of the time, and we don't stop it from being there. It's always there. And so the way that we can understand this and the way that we can work with it allows us to support me. Turn Facebook off. Allows me to support how you allows you to support how you're designed to interact in the world. Hi, lovely. How are you? If you could let StreamYard know your name, that would be amazing. Then I can see your name too. So the very basis of human design is that the centers that you have defined determine your auric field, because your auric field correlates with your energy type. So if you are a manifester, you will have a different auric field to generators. Let me know who is what is your human design type. Drop it into the chat and we can get clear on some of the examples. So the way that the auric field interacts in the world is literally how you're designed to meet the world, how you're designed to be in the world. And the more that you are embodied in that design, the more the world meets you according to your magnetism. Because our first part of magnetism comes from our auric field. 1-3 sacral management, amazing. So manifesting generators have a different auric field to projectors, for example. So everybody has a different auric field. And that is like the type that you are determines that auric field. Generator with manifested child. I hear you. It's funny actually, because we had a call earlier for the ladies who are doing the human design business certification. And I'd been saying to Archie, because I've had, today is my working day, even though it's half term. And I said to Archie all through the day, right, I've got a call coming up. Do you want me to get you some food? Do you need anything? I'm going to do this call. He's like, no. And then halfway through the certification call, he comes down. He's like, I'm hungry. I'm like, of course you are, my splenic manifester. 5-1 manifesting generator, emotional response, full defined, except the G. Amazing. Okay, so your auric field is how you're designed to interact in the world, how you're designed to meet the world. The centers that you have defined determine what your auric field is. So for example, generator, you have a defined sacral. Money gens, you have a defined sacral and a defined throat that is connected to a motor center. So the centers directly correspond with then how your auric field is in the world. So when we bring that down to the next level of how this energetic attraction is attraction. How this energy attraction works. The first layer is through your aura. The second layer is to understand that the centers and the way that human design works is to always look for completion. It is always looking for flow. It is always looking for holistic completion of the energy, because where people are undefined, in order to feel that energy and to experience that sense of completion, being around people who have that center defined creates this puzzle-like experience. Okay. So for example, Jules has said that she has all of her centers defined apart from her G center. So Jules will be naturally attracted to people who have a defined G center for her energy to feel a sense of completion and wholeness. In human design theory, this is a very basic level, that obviously this is nuanced, and we all have free will and we all have experiences and different interactions in different ways, energetically and otherwise. So it's just looking purely at the centers. So on your auric field, and then you've got the centers. So for example, my centers are undefined in my emotional center, my G center, my ego, and my head. So where I have those undefined centers, when I'm around Jules' energy, then I'm going to also experience a sense of completion with so many of those centers. Apart from the G center, we'll still be open depending on what our gates are, but we're not going to go into that level of technicality. So in human design, we've got these different levels of attraction. This is how energy attraction works in human design. We're always finding where we can complete our energy. And that's where we're going to feel this sense of connectedness. And we're going to find natural ease and flow energetically and with other people. So where we look at that and where we start to understand that, it means that your aura is a really powerful pathway for attraction and magnetism, energetic attraction. Your centers are really powerful energetic attraction tools. And then the other piece of this is your profile, because your profile, so Jules is 5'1". Jules is the only name I can see. So everybody else says Facebook user. So 1-3 sacral manager, like 1-3 and a 5'1". So the way that your profile works is that this is your personality. Like this is the closest thing in human design to your personality. This is how the world sees you and is interacting with you. So the energy of all 6 of the profile lines have a different expression in the world. So the different profile lines, there's 6 altogether, they all have a different expression in the world. And then when you combine them, they also have a different expression. So a 5-1, even though the 1 is the same as the 1-3, they have a different expression in the world. And so where you can start to recognize that the more you embody your profile and the more that you can use this in a strategic way, which I'm going to break down for you in a minute, the more you're going to be meeting the world according to the energy that you were already designed with, according to the energy that the world already sees you as. Does that make sense? So energetic attraction works in human design because of your auric field. Your auric field? That's something else. Because of your aura. Because the thing about your aura is that the more aligned you are to your type, to your authority, I know we always come back to type and authority, the more aligned you are to that, the more magnetic your aura becomes. If you are trying to live in a different way, or if you are leaning into the conditioning that we all have, like everybody has conditioning, then it's going to minimize the magnetism that you have. So as an example, for the generators and manifesting generators, because I see here that, we've got generators and manifesting generators. For the generators and manifesting generators, the auric field is designed to be magnetic when you are aligned. Your alignment comes from following the response of the sacral and doing the things that light you up. Now, in theory, this is like, yeah, okay, I got that. But how many times, if you think about it, how many times in your business are you like, yeah, but I should do this, or I don't know another way of doing this, or this is how it worked before, so I need to do it again, or this is what they expect of me, so I have to do it this way. How many times do you do that in your business? Whereas you're designed to follow in the moment what your sacral is lit up by, and being able to be in that energy means that your aura becomes so sparkly and so magnetic that you turn heads even if you've just come out of a hot yoga session. People can't not look at you. Have you seen those people? Like, you had that experience when you're walking past people, you're like, and it's like they could have just come out of the gym. They could have been dripping in sweat. They could have been just had their eyebrows waxed and looked like a panda. It doesn't matter. The magnetism is in their auric field. Does this make sense? How many times are you following what is true for you and what it means to be a generator or a manifesting generator, or whatever your human design type is, versus how many times are you going, yeah, but I should do this, or it makes logical business sense to do this, or this is how I made money before, so this is how I'm going to do it again. And the more that happens, the more, if you imagine your auric field, it depletes in terms of its magnetism. Because when we're aligned, we're like arms wide open, ready to receive, and the whole world can see us. We've got this natural sparkle for every human design type, not only generators, manifesting generators. That was an example. But every single person, when you are aligned with what it means to be living according to your strategy and to your human design type, then your aura is lit up, it is sparkly, it is magnetic, and it is open to receive. When you are living from a place of not alignment, the not self, it kind of goes like this. It goes smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's not magnetic. It's dull. It's small. It's constricted. Does that make sense? Let me know. I'm a response-hungry generator. Let me know. Does that make sense? I think there's a big delay. Can you hear my manifestor babe upstairs? He's totally in his element. Okay, does this make sense? Yes, makes sense. Amazing. Thank you, Jules. The thing is that I read a great quote this weekend, and you may have read it too. I can't remember what I think it's like The Science of Miracles. I think it's called that. And in this book, she said, you cannot pee in the swimming pool and expect it to not go everywhere. Right? I was like, that's such a great visual. Because the truth is energy across the board. And if you are not living according to your design, it doesn't matter how aligned you are in your business, your auric field is still like constricted. It is still out of alignment. It's still not as magnetic as it could be. Energy is energy across the board. So it's not only going, okay, I'm really focused on client attraction. So I want to work out how to use my human design in the sense and the context and in the business only, because your aura will be your first port of magnetism. It's going to be the most attracted thing, energetically speaking, where people are like, oh my God, yeah, I feel like I'm really drawn into this. And that's what's going to create this client attraction and the ease that comes with it, because you're going to infuse that energy into everything you put out into the world. So if you are not living according to your human design, it doesn't matter how aligned you are in your business. It doesn't matter how aligned you are about being a Manny Jen in your business. If you are out of alignment elsewhere in your life, then it has a knock-on effect. Now, the truth about this is that I don't want you to freak out and be like, oh my God, there's so much that needs to change. The truth is that this is a journey. And, you know, all of human design is an experiment, and all of marketing is also, in truth, an experiment. All we're doing is synthesizing two proven structures to go, okay, this is the most aligned path from the theory of marketing, from the theory of human design, from the theory of energy, from all of these different pieces, right? This is the most aligned path for you in your business. But the truth is that we have lived according to how we've been living for the last however many years, probably most of our life for most of us, if not all of our life, and doing business in a certain way. So it's not that all of a sudden I say, you know what, to be really magnetic in your marketing, you have to live according to your human design. And then your brain goes, but what is happening? I can't focus on this. I can't do this. I can't but there's so many things to look at. It can feel really overwhelming. It can feel really big. So it's about, how can I start to make at least the awareness and start to make the changes that are going to feed my soul, that are going to feed my aura, that are going to really bring me into this place and into this space of connection with who I'm designed to be, so that I can magnetize the experiences that I'm designed to have with ease and with joy and with trust. Because I promise you now, this will require trust, and it will require this dedication. If you've heard me talk about alignment before, you've probably heard me talk about like the journey of the Mario Karts, right? You remember those old school games with Mario Karts? Put the Mario Kart on the track, is amazing to begin with. You're generally doing okay. If you can use the controls, I can't always use the controls. Generally doing okay. You're on the track. Everything's going great. Moving forward, heading towards the finish line. And then all of a sudden, there's a hay bale that comes and tries to knock you out of the way. Or there's a car that comes from behind you and bumps you off the road. Or there's a bend that's a bit tighter than you thought and you end up off the track. This is alignment. This is your journey of alignment every single minute, hour, day. It's not a one and done thing. So every day you're coming back to this dedication of bringing yourself back into alignment. What human design does is allows you to really tune into, this is my auric field. This is how it's designed to operate. And this is how I know when I'm in or out of alignment, so that you can bring yourself back. You can have that awareness. And it's not that you're never going out of alignment. It's more that you have the awareness to recognize it and to do something about it. So when it comes to living according to your human design, that's the starting point. You don't be all super aligned in your business and then go and just be, like for generators and manifesting generators, maybe the conditioning around being a people pleaser or doing things because you feel like you should. And then you're in your business that's all empowered, like I'm the queen, I love everything I do, I'm super vibey. And then you go into your family and you're like, okay, yeah, I'll do anything for you. What do you want me to do? Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Energy is energy across the board, and there's no judgment on that. We all have roles to play and we all have parts to play in all of our life, and that's totally fine. But it's having this layer of awareness and this perspective shift where you go, actually, how can I bring more of my energy and my alignment into every area of my life? Because when you do that, I guarantee there will be changes in your business. This is why I spend so much time with my clients talking about empowerment and embodiment. Because when you're empowered, not only in your human design, but also you're embodied in what you're sharing and what you're teaching, this also becomes an energetic magnet that is going to communicate, that is going to express for you, so that it takes the pressure off the way that you write or the precise copywriting technique that you need to have in order to create success. That's not true. Most people, for most of you, your client attraction will massively increase when you become aligned with who you are designed to be on an auric level. Now, what happens in our brain is that we go, what? So I just have to learn how to be a generator? That doesn't seem like very much. So I just have to do what lights me up and respond to the things in the moment. That doesn't feel very safe or secure or certain. So I just have to say no to the things I don't want to do or to the things that are not aligned. That doesn't feel very kind. Do you see how our brain, like, it's so simple, and yet our brain is running a million miles an hour. Like, but what about this? And what about this? And what about this? Which is natural. So the more you can start to connect with what does it mean to have the human design type that you have, the more that you can start to integrate that into your life, the more your aura becomes magnetic. And of course, client attraction will naturally happen. Does that make sense? No, I can't see your name. I can still only see Jules' name. So the auric field, this is the best way, and the first way, and the thing that I come back to over and over again with clients is, how are you living according to your design? How are you creating your business? I mean, I have so many amazing conversations with people, and it's just the reminder of, come back to what it means to be a manifestor, come back to what it means to be a generator. And we go, this is really simple. Yeah, it is. And it'll change the world really quickly. And the thing is, if you can have a conversation with the universe and say, hey, listen, I get that I'm a generator. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start following my sacral response. What I'd like you to do in return is to bring me the evidence, is to show me the signs that I am doing that I'm on the right track, that I'm following in a way that really serves, because this is a big leap of faith for me too. And I need to trust. You can have this conversation with the universe. I want to trust you. Bring me the signs that I can trust you. And it's really about trusting yourself too. Does this make sense? Let me know. Okay, so another way to use your innate magnetism. I'm trying to work out which way I spoke about. When I talk, I have a couple of bullet points. Like I know what I'm going to say roughly. I know where I'm going to go to, unless I've got the slides. Sometimes I use the slides if I'm showing you models and things, but generally speaking, I like to. Suzanne, I can see you now. Yes, amazing. So when I'm sharing this, I have a couple bullet points. I work in threes always. You may have noticed. And I have this channeling experience. So then I'm like, what did I actually say? And so when people say to me, can you repeat that? I'm like, no, I actually can't. So I'm figuring out which is all makes sense. Amazing. Seems too easy. But the thing is, and I was doing some advanced human design training this weekend with a certification with my original human design teacher. And she said the thing about it is when the cost of not doing it is too big, then of course you're going to try it. And this is why it's an experiment. So whenever I say to you, it's an experiment, human design, the whole of human design is like this experiment. And it brings this sense of there's no right or wrong, there's no judgment, there's it's all about really tuning into yourself, because everything is moving and evolving and changing all of the time. So even when you're moving through this experience and this experiment and your brain is searching for the logic, because that's what we've been conditioned to search for, then you're going into this place of I'm trusting myself and I'm trusting this experience. And when it works out, there's this whole thing about going to, okay, I want to go figure out how I did that. I want to replicate that. But how can you ever replicate that precise moment? Because everything in the world has changed, including you, and you've evolved as well. So we're always leaning into this experiment, and all we're doing is building this like arsenal of evidence, because that's what our brain is searching for. And ultimately your brain is only doing two things. It's trying to conserve or preserve energy and keep you safe. That is all it is programmed to do. So of course it's always going to be looking out for, hold on, let me see what happened last time so we can see what's going to happen this time, and let me just try and like hold on to your energy a little bit. So it doesn't want to lean into discomfort, which is energetically like unsafe, and also energetically it expends your energy. So your brain is always working to support you. Like it's trying to support you. It's trying to be super supportive. It's like the parent who doesn't like you climbing on all of the things in case you hurt yourself. That's what your brain is doing. But it's also about recognizing, okay, this is what is happening. And I know how my energy works and I know how my brain works. So how can I consolidate both of these experiences so that I can fully lean into the experiment, so that I can fully trust myself and in turn trust the universe? Like there's never going to be this, this seems too easy until you do it. And it's the thing that one of my other mentors used to say, or maybe she still does. One of my other mentors used to say when I was working with her, that was, you will wonder how to do it until you wonder how you did it. You don't know how it's going to be until you lean into it, until you trust it, until you experience it. We're all looking for this kind of, okay, ta-da, now it's done, ta-da. But we have to lean into it and lean into the edges, and we discover a whole lot about ourselves at the same time. Okay. All makes sense. I'm a 1-3 generator. Is there magnetism with that profile? There's magnetism in all of the profiles when you live according to your profile. We'll talk a little bit about the profiles in a minute, but the first thing for you to do is to live according to being a generator. What does it mean to be a generator? Follow the response, follow the sacral response, do what lights you up, to be aware of when you're in frustration and to recognize what that is, what that is showing you or signposting you to or from. Your voice changes me when you chat. I did not know that. Interestingly, I do have a thing in my the channel in my human design that also has this thing about the voice. So that's really interesting. Listening while I drive home from work. Amazing. So happy you're here. I can't see everybody's names. So if you want to let StreamYard know, if you can, please don't do this while you're driving. If you want to give them permission, then I can see your name. Okay, so that's the first piece, is your auric field. Okay, living according to your auric field. And if you, like, I always have conversations with the universe, always. especially because I've got an undefined head center. I'm always like throwing all my questions back out. The undefined head center likes to keep, well, both of the head centers actually like to ponder on the answers. But the undefined head center particularly is always trying to find the answer. What is the answer? And really what it's all about, having the questions and not the answers. You're not designed to have the answers. So I always throw the questions back out to the universe and I'm like, hey, here's my question. Can you bring me an answer? And it does. Like in a sign or in an experience or something happens that brings me the answer always. But I am not in control of when that's going to happen or what that's going to look like or, any of those things. And this is the whole piece around trusting that it's okay to not have all of the answers and that it's okay to live according to your design. So it's okay to live according to your design. I think I put a not in there. That's not what I meant. But it's okay to also have these conversations with the universe and say, listen, I'm going to step into this experiment. I'm going to embrace it. And I'm actually doing this myself. So the way that I'm designed to eat is not how I eat. And I have a lot of resistance to it right now. So I'm actually stepping into an experiment and I'm saying to the universe, listen, I'm going to give this a good go. I'd like you to bring me evidence pretty quick, right? Again, I'm not in charge of the time, but I'd like you to bring evidence to me. I'd like you to bring me signs. I'd like you to bring me this awareness that, hello, this is the right path. It's all perfect. Okay. So the first thing is your auric field and being able to work with that, because that will 100% allow you to magnetize more of everything that you desire in truth. And if you go back and have a look at the marketing guides, or if you want, I can direct you to it if you drop me a message. I'm not going to go into how that specifically works with content creation, all of those things, because I have covered that and there's so much more I want to share with you today. So really tuning into what your auric field is designed to interact, like how you're designed to meet the world. Then we want to look at understanding where you are attracting people. So you will inherently attract people where you have defined centers. And that's because of this puzzle effect. Remember I said at the beginning that human design is like this giant puzzle. We're all trying to create this completion together. So where you are defined, you will attract people who are either undefined in that area or operating from a disempowered place. Now, I'm not going to really, yes, the marketing guide is in the group. I'll tag you in it later, Jules. I'm not going to go into the empowered and disempowered and all of those things, states of the centers. But essentially, here's what you need to know. You are attracting from your defined centers because that is where you have consistent access to the energy, and the defined centers are beacons that are emitting this energy all of the time. Now, the more aligned you are with your auric field, the stronger your defined centers magnetism also is. So where you have the defined centers, what you're doing is emitting this beacon and you're sharing this energy, and the people who are attracted to it likely are going to have the undefined centers. So for me, I really love experimenting with this because I lean into a lot with my defined ajna, which is why you always see me create concepts and frameworks and all of those things. And I use that a lot. And I work with a lot of people who have an undefined ajna because they're attracted to me because of this magnetism from that space. Now, of course, there are layers within layers within layers. There are lots of different aspects to human design, but on a very powerful level, your centers and being able to not only empower yourself in those centers energetically, but start to integrate that into your copywriting and into how you're positioning your marketing, your offers, all of those things becomes super magnetic. Now, there is a hierarchy to human design. I don't like talking about hierarchies in general, but there is a hierarchy to human design, and it goes like this: strategy and authority and profile and centers. So your strategy and authority are always going to come first to respond and to follow your sacral, for example, if you're a sacral generator. That is always going to be the number one thing that really allows you to become super magnetic. But everyone says that's too simple. So then we want some more. So here's some more. Your centers are going to work in a way that also is going to magnetize people to you. So I'm going to run through this super quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time, a lot of detail on the centers, but I will run through the themes of the centers. If you have the centers defined, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to lean into everything and to use these themes. I'm giving you a broad brushstroke of what the themes are. So for example, I have a defined spleen. I don't always lean into talking about fear, for example. Okay. So you want to choose the centers that work the best for you and resonate the most with you and feel the most magnetic and aligned and empowered and all of those things. And of course, that work with your actual business strategy and who you're speaking to. So the defined centers, let's start at the bottom because energy always moves from the bottom up. The root center right at the bottom. The root center is all about the energy of consistency and sustainability. This is where you'll find your adrenals in a physical sense. This is about the energy to get up and go. This is a pulse of action. And it is also a real deep trust in divine timing. The centers, by the way, also correlate with the chakras, and how that works is that this root center is like the base, the root. This is about groundedness and the connection with abundance. Then we move up and we go into the sacral. The sacral center, if you have this defined, you're a generator or a manifesting generator, and you have got access to this energy. Now, I will say 70% of people have access to this center in a defined way. The real magnetism of this comes when you are living it. So the more that you are living according to being a generator or a manifesting generator, the more magnetic it becomes. So this is connected with creativity, passion, desires, sexuality. It's about bringing into life this life force, this beautiful energy. Then we've got in the solar plexus, we've got the two centers from the solar plexus are the emotional center and the splenic center. So the emotional center is if you are an emotional authority, then you have this defined. And the emotional center, as it sounds, is concerned with the energy of emotions and feelings and being able to really connect with that. Okay. Then the splenic center, which is the oldest energy center in human design, is the center that is connected with survival. So this is where we have fear and where we can connect with instinct to allow people to understand what is in their life that is toxic and not directly connected with survival. Okay. So with the splenic center, there's a lot that, when it's defined, you're feeling your own fears. But in using that in marketing, you can support people to move beyond fears, for example. Then as we move up again in the heart chakra, we've got the G center and the ego. The G center and the ego center. So the ego center is the center of value, worth, resource, motivation. So when you have this defined, you have this natural connection with confidence and self-esteem, and also this natural ability to be able to create and manage resource, and also have access to motivation when it's empowered and firing correctly according to your energy type. The G center is the center of the self. Interestingly, the G center, actually I'll talk about in a minute. Let me make a note, otherwise I'll go off on a tangent. The G center is connected with the self. So this is like self-love, self-identity, self-direction. Where is the self? What is the connection with this? Okay. So the more that you are leaning into yourself, the more magnetic that center becomes as well, especially when you have it defined. Then you move up into the throat. The throat is the center of manifestation, because in human design, this is about manifesting. Manifestation is literally to speak into existence. So in human design theory, all the energy is moving up to the throat to manifest into existence. And the throat center is manifestation, expression, and communication. Then we move up again, up into the ajna, and the ajna is like the computer processor that we're working with. And it has this ability to, when it's defined, by the way, when it's undefined, you still have access to the energy of these centers. It doesn't mean that we're all of the chart at different times. But the only difference is that when it's defined, you have consistent access to it. I want to be super clear about that. So the ajna can create concepts, frameworks, and be able to assimilate information. It's like the data processor. And we move up again into the head center. The defined head center is naturally inspired and inspiring. So if you have a defined head center, the more you can lean into being an inspiration and embracing your own inspiration by sharing what you're finding inspiring, the more magnetic your content becomes. And that is super simple, right? You can just be like, I'm super inspired by human design at the moment, or I'm really inspired by this new tool that I use, or I'm really inspired. You can really lean into that. So when you understand your centers and you start to pull out, what is it that I really feel drawn to and empowered in to create this magnetism in your message? Okay. Client attraction on steroids, guaranteed. I'm not actually designed to guarantee anybody anything, by the way, undefined ego center. So, but it is a universal energetic law. Okay. So the other piece that I wanted to share with you is that when you infuse your profile in your marketing, then it also becomes more magnetic. And this is like ultimately client attraction is powered by magnetism. Okay. I know I'm giving you a lot of information. Does anyone have any questions? Let me have a little break. Does anyone have any questions? Let's lean into this. And then I can carry on with your profiles in a second. The thing about client attraction is, even within what I'm telling you, even within having all of this information, there are still nuances. There are still lots of different things that we can start to pull out within your chart, within your strategy. Defined are the colored bits. Yeah. Defined are where you've got the colored center. Like we're looking specifically at the centers. So the centers that are infilled are defined. So when we're starting to look at these different pieces and we're starting to explore them, it's really important to recognize that, yeah, that's interesting. You start to integrate it, but this is a lived experience. This is not a knowledge-based experience. I can tell you this all day long, and it won't change your world unless you start living it, unless you start embodying and integrating it into your life and into your business. So that's where having support from me in things like the human design business is going to put all of this information not only into something that is precise for you and concise for you to integrate in bite-sized pieces, but it's also going to give you that clarity and certainty, because that's what I'm there to provide for you when you're stepping into it and when you're navigating these different energies. Okay, so let's look at the profiles. There are 6 profiles in human design theory. And they are 1 to 6. I think it's very simple, 1 to 6. And they each have a different energy expression. And the more that you can connect with the energy expression of your profiles and start to bring that into how you're marketing, the more magnetic your marketing becomes. So I'm going to give you a very quick overview of this is the expression, this is how you can use it in marketing. So for example, the 1 energy, profile of the 1 energy is the investigator. The investigator is very concerned with data and loves to get to the bottom of things. And it's energetically correct to do that, unless it starts to bring about the out of alignment experience for whatever your human design type is. But that's another layer we're not going to go into. So the 1 energy loves to get to the heart and soul of what is going on. What is the data behind this? What is the reason this works? Why does this work? How does this work? All of those things. 1 energies, do you feel me? I'm not a 1 energy. So this is my understanding rather than my lived experience. 1 energies, does that resonate? You want to find out what's going on and why? And the thing about that is that you also create safety for the people who you are marketing to, because you know what's going on, how it's working, why it's working. So you really want to start to build that into your marketing. You want to build that into your messaging. Lead with that, especially if your 1 is that your second number. We're not going to go into that. So many things. Yes, with the 1 energy, right? Totally, Nadia, 100%. Okay, so 2 energy, I'm a 5-2. So 2 energy, I totally resonate with this. The 2 energy is called I call it the intuitive. So we're going to lead with that. So the 2 energy is very intuitive, and the 2 energy knows what it knows without knowing how it knows what it knows. In the world that we're in, that can be very unsettling for the 2 energy, because the world we're in, we're conditioned to find the evidence. How do you know what you know? What is the evidence for this? And then that really disconnects the 2 energy from their magic. So the best thing I would suggest for 2 energy is firstly have somebody who you trust to reflect back to you what you're amazing at, and then start to bring your intuition into your marketing. You know what you know. You don't have to explain it. You don't have to convince anybody, but you are there to share a message that is really intuitive. The 3 energy is the energy of the experimenter, and the experimenter is about jumping feet first into things to figure out if it works. Like, you don't need to go and research it all. You don't have this intuitive knowing. Well, everybody is intuitive, but in the same way as the two energy, you don't have that intuitive knowing, but you jump feet first into things. You're like, let me just try and see if this works. Let me try this. I really want to figure this out. Let me just jump feet first into this. Of course, following your strategy and authority. So the more that you're doing that and stepping into that space for the 3 energy, the more fun and magnetic you are. The 3 energy can be very magnetic when it's embracing that fun. I mean, all of the profiles can be very magnetic when they're embracing how they're designed to be in the world. The 3 energy is magnetic when it's having fun. So if you're writing copy or doing marketing like it's very serious and it has to be like in a certain way all of the time, then you're totally missing the magic of the 3 energy. You've got to come back to that experimentation. The 4 energy is called the opportunist. I like to call it the attractor, because the 4 energy really is about attracting the opportunities that are right to you when you are focusing on your own alignment, but you're also focused on building relationships. So the more that the 4 energy, if you've got 4 energy and you're looking at how to use this in marketing, you want to focus on connection. How am I building community? How am I creating relationships? How am I building connection? That is how your magnetism is going to shine through. The 5 energy is the messenger. So the 5, I'm a 5-2. So the 5 energy is all about this throat energy. It's this messenger energy. 5 energy is about sharing the message. It's about embracing that you're here to be the messenger. You're here to be the teacher. You're here to speak on a collective level to impact and to empower the collective. Okay. 6 energy. So for 5s, the more you embrace that leadership role, the better it is. 6 energy, you're the role model. You're designed to lead by example. The best thing I can tell you about embracing this in your marketing is to embody. I literally was saying this actually on the human design certification earlier. I'm not going to swear because I know some of you might have kids around, but I literally said the best thing you could do is embody the F out of everything that you talk about and everything that you share, because that is the ultimate magnetism. Because the more that you can step into this space of like, I already am walking this. You don't even need to communicate it all of the time, because you already are the leading example and the literal role model who's embodied in that. So do you see how you can start to bring these energies into your marketing and start to play with them? So yeah, Suzanne, you can play with both of those. The 3, be fun. The 5, share the message. And really step into that. Play with it. Really feel into it, because that is where you're going to have this magnetism. So when I look on profiles, like Facebook profiles, it gives me a really good insight to see what the energy types are, the profile types, because you know, if you are a 3 energy, you want to be sharing things like behind the scenes, this is what's going on, this is my process, versus if you're a 1 energy, then you want to be sharing, okay, this is how it works and why it works this way, and be okay with that. My manifestor babe is super loud if you can hear him. He's so happy, so aligned. Okay, so codes about money making in your chart. Now listen, here's the truth. There are so many codes for money making in your human design chart. Every single thing I've already told you is a code for money making in your human design chart. But the one thing that I wanted to share with you is about what actually you can't hear him. I think it's because of the way that I've angled the computer, but it is filling the rest of the house. Okay, so there's so many codes to money making in your human design. And in my notes, I'd written about the ego center and the throat. And the truth is, you know, with your throat center, when it comes to selling with the process that I use, that's where you're selling from, is your throat center. And you can start to look at the gates that you have defined, which then specifically tell you these are the words that are going to be super magnetic for you when you're selling, when you're promoting. There are things in the ego center that bring you into a greater sense and a greater state of integrity, which also for me, the ego center is the activation of wealth. There are also things in your planets where we look at, you know, where is Venus and where is Mars, because wealth for me is the harmony of the masculine and the feminine energy. So in order to create more money, when we look at things like what is the relationship between the Mars and the Venus, then that is going to give an idea about how you're designed to interact with the feminine and the masculine and where you're more connected with that. So there's loads of different ways that we can do that. But I want to talk to you specifically about the G center, because that's what I wrote down earlier when we were talking. Good on Archie. Yeah, he's super embodied in his human sign. I love it. Mostly. I mean, mamas of manifestor babes, you know what I mean. What is interesting is he has he just started secondary school, so he started like walking to school by himself and then coming home later and hanging out with friends. And so it's really interesting to get that I was going to say balance, but I don't really ever think it's a balance. It's more this to get the right level of empowerment between giving him freedom, because manifestors love freedom. All UMGs will also resonate with this, right? I mean, not that any of us don't like freedom, but it's super important for manifestors because they're the energetic leaders, to give him this freedom within a boundary that still empowers him. So that has been very interesting. I digress. Okay, the G center. Here's what I want you to know about the G center. The G center in the center of your chart in human design is called the magnetic monopole. And what that means is that this is where you are creating the experiences that you are manifesting in your reality. Not fully and not entirely, because, you know, your thoughts have impacts on that, your emotions have impacts on it. But your G center, if we're looking at anywhere in the chart, this is the center that is concerned with the quality of your manifestations, essentially, because we're always manifesting. We're always in this experience of manifesting. We're always in this experience of being able to create our reality, whether we're conscious of it or not. And that's really the only difference, is that we're not being conscious or intentional. And so, or we're buying into things that don't really serve us, because, you know, the mindset piece, the upward spiral or the downward spiral of mindset has such a big impact on everything. So when we're looking at the human design chart and we're looking at the G center, it's irrelevant about whether it's defined or not defined, is the first thing I want to say. Yeah, it's the diamond in the middle. If it's defined, it'll be, generally speaking, it's colored in yellow, depending on where you've got your chart from. But it's the diamond in the middle. And this is the magic of the G center, is that when you can connect with it in the way that it's designed for you, whether it's defined or undefined, I mean, mine's undefined, then you are able to create the experience of manifestation that you desire. So it's like, I'm trying to find the right words for this, because I don't like to talk in like a judgment perspective. So I don't anymore. Some of my older recordings, you might find this, and I'm not going to get rid of my older recordings because that's part of my evolution as well. But some of them where you hear me say like low frequency, high frequency, and all of those things, like we understand what it means. We understand the energetics. We understand what it means on a scale and a spectrum and all of those things. But for me, it's about empowered or disempowered. And if you want to have one thing, you have to pick up the stick for all of it. So if you want to have acceptance, for example, you get the whole spectrum. You don't just get a piece of it. I want to have acceptance, but only if it works in this way. You pick up acceptance, you also be available for rejection. And it doesn't mean anything. It's more about our energetic capacity to be okay with all of that. So the thing about the G center is, and this is why the words I'm going to use, because I can't find any others right now. Essentially, when you're connected with your G center in the way that it's designed for you, then you can manifest a higher quality experience of life into reality, of everything that you desire, essentially. So when we're looking at the codes for money making inside of your human design, there's so many different places we can look at. But when you can recognize the G center has such an important part to play, then we can start to ask questions like, okay, so what does this mean and how do I work with it? So here's what it means. The G center is concerned with the self. There's a lot of self-love. There's a lot of connection with the body. There's a lot of connection with empowerment. There's a lot of connection with self-inspiration and creativity, self-leadership. So the way that we connect with it and enable this to be powerful for us to facilitate higher experiences of manifestation in our reality is that we can start to connect with a deeper level of self-acceptance, of gratitude, of empowerment, of love for the body. Now, these are not like platitudes. These are not like spiritual, just love yourself. It's not that at all. It's about recognizing that, of course, sometimes there's a journey. I mean, I understand on a logical level that you've got to love yourself, and that's so powerful. But you can't fall in love with yourself by just going, I love myself, right? Sometimes there's a journey involved as well. So I'm not saying this like just this throwaway comments, like just be grateful and love your body. It's not about that. It's recognizing that these are the journeys, that if you're not at that place, then we can start to look at these are some of the journeys on an energetic level that are going to support you in manifesting the life that you desire. And the first thing that you can do, that everybody can do right now, that everybody can find something with this, is to really tune into gratitude. Please don't roll your eyes at me and turn this off. I have more to say about this. Because I know it's one of those things where people are like, just be grateful. Well, sometimes life sucks and you don't want to be grateful, and that is okay, right? Here's what I would like you to do, is to really start to understand the energy behind gratitude and how important it is, particularly when I've explained it in the context of the G Center and being able to bring those manifestations into your reality. The things that we are grateful for, we can create more of. So if we're looking outside of ourselves, because society has trained us and conditioned us to look outside of ourselves and go, what's next? What don't I have? What do I need to work to get? How am I going to get this 7-figure business? How am I going to get it right? All of those things. Then what is happening is that we are missing all of the magic that is available for us in our G Center, because the G Center is like, hold on, I'm the center of self. I'm the center of self-direction. I can't take you in the direction if you're not even integrating into the self now. So what is it that you're grateful for? Be grateful for the journey that you've been on. Be grateful for what you've already achieved. Be grateful for what you have in this present moment. I do this exercise where I look around like the space that I'm in and I'm like, what am I grateful for? And I love to tune into abundance. So right now I can tell you that I am grateful for the abundance of clean clothes that I need to put away, because it means that Archie and I are taken care of and we have clean clothes. I am grateful for the abundance of fruit in the fruit bowl, because it means that Archie and I are taken care of nutritionally. I'm grateful for the abundance of pans that need to be put away, because it means that Archie and I have been well fed. Like, what, you can look around, look at anything. Do you know, this is like an embarrassing admission, but I will tell you that I feel super abundant when I have loads of toilet rolls in the house. And it's not even from COVID, by the way. This was even before. Knowing that I always had toilet roll made me feel really abundant. So I always have loads of toilet roll in the house, because I'm like, well, I feel super abundant. Do you see how you can start to really connect with this? Does that make sense? Let me know. Drop your gratitudes, actually. Drop your gratitudes into the comments. Let's give life to them. Because the words that we speak, that's what we're giving life to. This is why I'm always so intentional and conscious about the words that I use. So the thing that I want to share with you is that with everything in human design, there's so much to understand. There's so much to really come to grips with. And of course, most of you here know that the human design business is opening next week. Actually, we start next week. And for me, the magic of the human design business is that we can take all of this and actually implement it. We can take all of this and I will guide you specifically to what is going on. So if you're a generator, you're going to have your own journey as a generator. If you're a projector, you're going to have your own journey as a projector. So that everything that is in there is very specific to business for your type. Because remember, that is the most important piece. And then we're going to layer all of these things into it. I'm going to show you exactly how to use your defined centers. I'm going to show you exactly how to use your profiles. I'm going to give you different activations for all of those things, including the G Center. You're also going to have access to so much more that we didn't even cover. But more importantly, you're going to have the clarity and certainty about this is how you use your human design in business. And if you've got no idea about business, you're still going to have the breakdown. And I would say, like, honestly, in many ways, if you've got no idea about business, then it's better, because you haven't got to unlearn the stuff that people have told you that are not right for you. So it is also going to be the thing that I'm going to show you exactly what that means in a business sense. If you've ever wondered the best way to set up a profile on Facebook, I'm going to show you. If you've ever wondered how you do any kind of marketing, whether it's on Facebook or whether it's growing your audience on Pinterest, I'm going to show you. Whether it's looking at how you set up funnels or how you even do your first launch, I'm going to show you all of those things, but with the added layer of this is how you do it for your human design type. Because ultimately what you're doing then is allowing the energy that you have already been gifted for this lifetime, that your soul already designed you with, to do the work for you as well. Like, you've got to take action. This is true, right? You can't just be like sat at home doing nothing and your business is going to grow. We still have to do the action. But when your energy is doing the work with you too, then it is going to amplify your results, and it is going to also increase the ease and flow so that you become more sustainable energetically and in your business as well. Okay. So everything is going to be there for you. I'm going to put the information in the comments. This is available we're starting on the 1st, which is Tuesday. Oh no, what day is it? We're starting on Tuesday. When you sign up, you will get access to an abundance activation so that you can work with your energy immediately. Plus, you are going to have 3 months of support from me in the group, which means that you get to work directly with me. You get to come and say to me, what does this mean in my chart? Where am I looking for in this? How do I translate this into copy? My favorite thing to do, Nadia has experienced this, and my favorite thing to do is for you to show me your human design chart, tell me what you're launching, and all you have to do is listen to me literally give you all of the copy for your launch, for your marketing, for your funnels, whatever it is, because that is one of my response gifts, is that I can see it in copy. So you will get everything that you need to move your business forward, but to create sustainability. The investment is £999, or there are also payment plans involved. You get lifetime access to the training, you get funnel templates and all these different things. This, for me, the ultimate game changer. If your business is not where you want it to be and you don't know how to get it there, don't go buy another general course, because you're going to be in the same place after that general course is finished. Come and experience what it means to work with your energy in a way that you are designed to. And that is going to be the biggest liberation for you, because you will always have that knowledge. And whatever you do after, whatever courses you buy, you will always have that knowledge about how they work for you, so that you can always create success. Okay, if you have any questions about it, let me know. I'll drop the information below so that you can secure your place. And yeah, this is the only time that I plan on doing this live. This will be turned into a self-study. I almost couldn't think of the word again. Self-study after this. So yeah, super grateful for the freedom I already have in my life, for living right next to the beach, even if it's quite a small place. Oh, it's amazing, Nadia. I miss the beach and Spanish living and all of those things. So yeah, the fact is that I desire more, but I already have created a lot of what I want in some way. Yeah, and it's really leaning into that gratitude and that appreciation for what you've already created, because that is the energetic that brings you more. You know that when and you've probably heard me say this, Nadia, that I always say focus on impact and the income will come. That is universal energetic law, that the income will always come because you are focusing on impact, which you already have and you're already creating, which means that you are energetically attracting more, like you're already in the energetic of abundance. So you're already creating more, and income is energy. So it will come. Jules, thank you. I have an appointment. We'll catch up. Grateful for you. Amazing. Thank you. Lovely. Nadia, I'm so excited for this. Can't wait to start next week. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm super excited. Okay, so if you have questions, then drop them below. I will put the information about the human design business into the comments. And yeah, it would be lovely to support you on that journey and to give you the tools, the empowerment, and the knowledge of not only how to grow a business, like we will do all of that. We will do all of the business building pieces, like this is the how-tos and all of those things. But more than that, you're going to create a strategy that is aligned for you. And remembering that every single time you go to launch, for example, it's going to be different. So the same way that you launched is not going to work the same every single time. So the more that you can understand your own energetic and empower you to decide what is right for you in that moment, which is what you will get from understanding your human design, then the more you're going to create the success moment by moment by moment. Okay, thank you so much for being here. You're amazing. I love you. I'll see you soon.